broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the Inventor Lady Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world. As Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com, one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hello, everybody, and thanks so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, part of the Home Talk USA family. And we are delighted to be here on this week after the holidays, so kind of right in the middle there of the holidays. And this segment is brought to you by Aztec Washer. It is a revolutionary manufacturer and seller of roofing products since 1968. Holy cow, they've been around a long time. Seal it right, seal it tight, aztecwasher.com. And we were grateful to all of our sponsors. Hopefully by the new year, we will be bringing on several new ones. And part of that is going to the trade shows where we get to meet lots of people. And we did meet a lot of people last year at ASD Market Week who have become sponsors of Invent America. So, going to those trade shows, that face-to-face contact, man, and there is a trade show for everything. So my first guest today is Don Skaggs. He's our industry expert in the fact that Don has been working with inventors for decades. So not to give away your age, Don, but you're kind of in that same category as I am, old fart. And, so
I'll own up to it.
All right. So, tell our inventors, what you invented. How many different shows did you go to?
Well, Rita, mine's kind of a strange, a little bit of a nerdy story. We came up with a product that would irreversibly change formaldehyde to a 100% non-toxic material in less than 15 minutes.
Wow.
And that's a mouthful. That was also my elevator pitch back when we sold the product. And we found that a lot of companies or a lot of hospitals rather had a problem dealing with formaldehyde in the early 90s, which is also going to tell about how old I am. So we bootstrapped a company and actually made products for the pathology laboratory, the part of the clinical lab that was dealing with that. So cool. We got to go, and it's funny, Rita, every industry has a trade show. Oh, yeah. So we actually went to what was called the National Society for Histotechnology conference every year. It was always in a different city every year, which was kind of cool because I'd bring my wife and we'd actually get to go to Toronto or Arizona or California or you name it. So but working a trade show, boy, that's and it's funny. I've been to a lot of different trade shows. I've walked through a lot of them. And it's funny in all these different industries, all these different inventors and entrepreneurs and small businesses that I've worked with, that they're all different, but they're all the same. Yeah. A lot of the things that you do in these, it doesn't matter if I've been to an aerospace conference and, it was funny. I thought, histology conference, aerospace conference, that should be two different things, but it wasn't. I mean, it was, but it wasn't because there's a lot of the sameness. You've got the booths, you've got the connections, you've got all of these different elements that you use no matter what trade show, what industry, what product you're plugging into.
Right. I agree with you. I've been to the National Asphalt Show.
Wow.
And gosh, I think that was someplace in Kentucky. And it wasn't a very big one, but wow,
Yep.
it was really intense because everybody
Hmm.
who was there dealt in some way with asphalt. And the inventor I was with had invented a new machine for, putting the crystals into it. And it was very
Wow.
cool. And he had 3 prototypes to his name. And there were actually guys that wanted to buy the prototypes on the floor because it was so cool. And I've been to, some of the really big fancy ones,
Hmm.
the home shows in Chicago at the big
Oh yeah.
hotels. They're just, was to a big fashion show in Chicago as well. And, you're right in the fact that some of those, there's always a certain quality to the show. You're trying to show off, you're trying to get
Hmm.
people's attention. You're working really, really hard to get someone to stop and talk to you. So that
Yes.
part is consistent. Why do you go to a show? You go to get people's attention and to show off and to talk to people. So it really
Exactly.
doesn't matter where it's at, what it is, if you're looking for a professional show. The one thing that I have really noticed, and this is where it's a kicker for the inventors, is sometimes they will go to a show that specializes in inventors and they don't realize that that is a feeding frenzy and the inventor
Yes.
is the main course.
Yes.
Because it's
Absolutely.
predominantly now service providers who are trying to sell services as opposed to buyers who are looking for
Ex-
product.
exactly. It's almost in reverse of how
Yeah,
it ought to be.
you're showing off and they want to sell you services. Where you go to get the attention is to an industry show that is for your product that specializes in consumer products. So the buyers are there. The buyers are there.
Exactly.
When you go to the shows, and there's a difference too between the shows that are for consumers and the shows that are for the professionals.
And it's funny and I've seen both. I can tell you a great story. So I there was a guy in our group, in our inventor entrepreneur. His name was Dan. I used to call him Lieutenant Dan. It was kind of my nickname for him. But he came up with this hardware tool, this way to clean the underside of a lawnmower in less than a minute. And it was a really cool tool. Got all that caked grass and everything. He called it the grass buster.
Hmm.
And so he wanted to go to this trade show. Actually, it was in Kentucky. And he said, Don, would you go with me to this trade show? I said, Dan, I don't know anything about hardware tools. He says, that's okay. I don't know anything about trade shows. So I went along, and it was really, I'm really glad I did now because I can tell his story. So he had been to all of these distributors, all of these other buyers, and everybody gave him the cold shoulder. So he's in this big conference hall with his little booth right there, and he had some early product runs, like 100. Another box had like 200 in it. And the last day of the show, they opened it up to the public, direct customers. You could actually sell products. And I've never seen all these people who give him the cold shoulder. They were all looking to see what was going on over there because he had people 3 and 4 deep, all with money in their hands, ready to buy his product.
The cool thing about where we go to ASD Market Week and we take 40 inventors, 40 products, they have the show that is for the professional buyers and it's also open to the consumer. So it's one of those that
Yes,
is just stellar in the fact that, if you're out there and, you're looking around, that is a place to go to see the new products. And so many of the professional shows will not let the consumers in. And so many of the consumer shows the professionals don't go to. So
exactly.
this one where they actually now use our products to go out ahead of time and start looking now for potential buyers. So they take us as their incentive for the buyers to come, which is amazing that they're willing to do that. So we're their incentive that drives, traffic to the show, but then they allow us to sell individually. So that's right. Then we can get
The
people
best of
over
both
there
worlds.
and have the best of both worlds. We are so fortunate that we can do that. We can be able to get those consumers in so that they help to get the attention of the big buyers. And you're right. I mean, I'll get an inventor that says, well, I've been trying for 6 months to get somebody's attention. I said, I bet you nobody's answered you, have they?
Right,
And they go, no,
exactly.
how did you know? What am I supposed to say? It's like, well, you're supposed to be going to a trade show because
Yep.
that's where they go to buy. That's that's their Walmart. And the cool thing is that our booth space, that's the only innovative section at this show.
Yeah.
We are so lucky that, we get the buyers and the consumers, and then they use us to sell the products ahead of time, to advertise. This is what's going to be there. They help support the Innovation Award, which is really cool. We've never had any help with that before.
Nice.
And then they actually take our products out early and say, look, Mr. Buyer, this is the product that's going to be there. Come and place an order.
Yeah. And imagine the look on their faces when that happens.
Exactly. So we feel so fortunate that we found these guys. We'll be having on inventors who are going to the show with us, and we are looking to be able to get our inventors encouraged and have the time for ASD Market Week folks to be able to go out and advertise. So stick with us, everybody. We are going to be right back. Don will be back with us, and we have our first inventor coming up, Roy Rindom, and he is going to ASD Market Week with us, and he will be back to tell you about his product in just a minute. Hey, America, thanks so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents, and we have been doing it for centuries. So anybody out there that's got an idea or think you have an idea, shoot me an email, give me a call. My phone number is everywhere, and I will answer my phone and answer questions for you. If you want to join us for an Inventors Roundtable meeting, they are free. And the one coming up on December 12th will have a social media expert there to talk to all of our inventors about the challenges of dealing with social media and how we use it to advertise. This segment of Invent America is brought to us by Trim-A-Slab. If you need to replace rotting or missing wood, often found in driveways, sidewalks, decks, this is incredibly fast. It looks great, and it can be removed. It's called trimaslab.com, and I know that their website is linked on ours. So, Roy, thank you so much for being with us today. You have got a product called the Bottle Station. So tell our listeners, what is the Bottle Station, and where could they go to find it?
Thank you very much for having me. I've been a fan of yours, Rita, and for all that you help inventors like myself just take our idea and make it tangible. I can now hold a bottle station in my hand, and everybody else can as well. The bottle station is a very simple to use, simple to move, and simple to clean hand pump bottle holder for all of your hand lotions, your dish soaps, your hand sanitizer bottles. Just stick the bottle station down with its 4 high-strength suction cups to any clean, smooth surface, and it's already working. Insert your hand pump bottle, and your bottle will never fall over again. Not in the kitchen sink, not when you're driving your RV, or anybody with a hand mobility issue. You can just reach over and with one hand operate that pumping mechanism and know the bottle won't fall over. The bottle station is sold on the e-commerce, the website, thebottlestation.com. And again, it's for all the different types of products, your hand lotions, dish soaps, and your hand sanitizers.
Well, I appreciate it. I've got one and enjoy it. My husband tends to want to reach over with one hand, push down on the top of it. It slides out. It lands on the floor. I know I can't stop him from taking one and moving it to a different sink, but I can stop him from dropping them on the floor, which is wonderful. And I've also given one to my brother-in-law who has got MS. And so it has helped him be able to manage those different types of bottles, whether it's for lotion or hand soap. So Roy, in the process of coming up with this, you have been to lots of trade shows, different types of trade shows. Which ones did you find the most beneficial to you?
Well, I think that several of them offer different perspectives, right? So I've been to the huge Inspire show in Chicago. And again, that is a tremendous show with a Walmart of vendors, right? So when a inventor goes to a show like that, it really is very, very advantageous to go with somebody that knows your product and is as passionate as you are about your product. They can stay at the booth. That is your home space. That's your source of energy, where the people are walking up, where you have your strength, your items to show. And you now have a showroom of people that you can go and meet on your own, knowing that somebody that is as passionate about your invention is at your home base entertaining all the clients that walk up to you. So I've been to the Inspired show, and then I went also to a show called the Abilities Expo. That was just, as you both, Dawn and yourself, were alluding to before, there's a show for everything. The Abilities Expo is a show regarding people with hand mobility issues or physical differences. And the beautiful thing that I'm looking forward to with the ASD show is it combines both.
Yeah.
I have been trying ad nauseum to get in touch with buyers. Now, with your staff, Rita, I'm going to be able to reach them and speak to them in person with your staff's help, as well as be able to sell some products to the consumers directly.
Excellent. And you brought up a really good point, is that when you go to these professional shows, they always want to tell you that you have to have someone in the booth all the time. Well, if you go alone, it is really, really hard to be there all the time. Oh, hello, you've got to eat, and there is this thing called a bathroom break. But more than that, you can't go and work the floor. And being able to walk around and talk to some of these folks that are in their own booth and have to be there is really a critical part of a show's success. So that's one of the reasons that we look at having staff people there, multiple inventors there at the booth, because now lots of people have your back. Whether you're out working the floor, somebody comes back and says, oh, Roy, you got to go over and talk to this guy over here. He's really excited. And you didn't even know they were there. Now you go over and you talk to them. Or they bring them back to the booth and we call you up and say, Roy, we need you to get back here. There's a buyer here. There's lots of people that have your back, and you can still go out and work the floor, and you can be in the booth. So it's just really been interesting the way that we have learned that, the poor inventor that goes alone, man, they just can get really beat up and they can miss a lot. So we are really looking forward to having you with us.
Absolutely. And your strength of their support, your staff, your knowledge of the industry, and your reputation are just going to make it a no-brainer for any inventor that wants exposure at the consumer level, plus exposure at the professional buyer's level. It's a no-brainer, and it is listed as the largest, right? Yep. And so they don't make those titles for any reason. It is the largest for a reason. And with your backing at the ASD show, it sure seems like the bottle station is going to take off.
Well, we are going to do everything that we can do to help you do that. And thanks, everybody. Stick with us. We've got another inventor coming up. And if you are interested in getting the bottle station before the show, go to thebottlestation.com and you'll be able to get your own. And that, you know what? Somebody goes out there and buys that, we're going to want their name and we will get them on to give a testimonial for you, Roy. Okay?
Thank you so much for your time. And I'm a big fan. Keep up the awesome work for the individual inventors out there.
Thanks, everybody. Stick with us. We will be right back. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for being with us this afternoon as we talk about how cool trade shows are and challenging for inventors to be able to launch new products. This segment of our show is brought to you by Liberty Tabletop, by Sherrill Manufacturing, America's only flatware made in the USA. And to give a plug for Made in the USA, stick with us for hour 3. It will be coming up with Greg Owens as your host right after we wrap up Invent America. It's amazing how these 3 hours fit together so nicely. And we're talking now with Don Skaggs. He is the president of the Kentucky Inventors Group, but his reach is kind of like mine. It is all across America and worldwide, because when we go to these meetings, we've got people from, different places in Europe and South Africa, and you name it, we can get somebody into, one of Don's meetings for sure. But I think the big point there, Don, is that, people bring so many experiences. I mean, you took inventors from all across the country to the Kentucky State Fair because they were featuring an area with inventors.
Yes, I mean and it is amazing. COVID or an early adoption of Zoom just kind of changed things for us. And our website still says KY Inventors. We're the Inventors Network Kentucky, but we're probably overdue for a name change because we're not just Inventors anymore. We're not just Kentucky anymore.
I know.
But you're right. We have people from all over. We had people from all over join us for the innovation station that we had at the Kentucky State Fair just this past August. And 750,000 people walks through the Kentucky State Fair.
Wow.
So it was an incredible opportunity for folks that had product to actually get that face time with customers. They really did learn because people were voting with their pocketbook. They were voting with dollar bills.
Absolutely. And that's how I met Roy. And we had Roy on and a couple of the other inventors on that we met. Brandon Kolar was there. I've known him for a long time. It was because of him that we met the woman who helps us with Packwell Manufacturing. So that's all packaging that is made in the USA. All of this networking that inventors do with other inventors. And, you and I know you've heard it. They feel, well, I've been out there all alone. I feel like I was on an island all by myself or, on a raft out to sea. And
Absolutely.
Then I started going to this group. And now they start getting information. They start sharing war stories. And sometimes the best information you get is from the person sitting next to you, whether it's on a virtual screen or, at the table.
Absolutely. I mean, it's amazing just to see people that'll come in and, they don't know we existed before. And they're like, I found my tribe. They're the ones that at Thanksgiving, they're kind of like the weird uncle or the weird aunt that's like, oh yeah, Aunt Gertrude's got this crazy idea for this, that, and the other. But, they come to us and they're at home because everybody else has got really cool things. And guess what? They weren't crazy ideas because they turned them into real products and real businesses.
So, well, I'm going to tell you a secret. Don't tell anybody that I told you this, but the majority of my inventors are generally over 60.
Yeah, I can see
because,
that.
Lots of experience,
Exactly.
a lot of different situations they've been in, and they've said, oh, I think I could do this better. And so they do. And then,
They really do.
they retire. Now they have some time and their wife says, I need you to get out of the kitchen. And so they go out and tinker in the garage or whatever. But a good number of my inventors, and I know that there's one gentleman, his adult children who are, just a little bit younger than I am, are the ones that are running the business. But he was the inventor and he's in his 80s.
Yeah.
And they're going to ASD Market Week with us.
That's fantastic. We had an 80-some-year-old inventor. His name was George, and he would come to our workshop with a new product every single month.
Wow.
And George wasn't going to commercialize anything, but he was having a ball. And, usually it was, popsicle sticks and rubber bands, but it was functional and it actually worked. And he actually said one time, he said, I want to put all this in a book and then just sell the book.
Yeah. I told the inventor I was talking to, he said, well, I think I'll write a book and tell inventors about all the things, to avoid. And I said, no, just
Yeah,
do a blog site so you can start getting
there
things
you go.
out there right now. I've been there, done that, written 3 murder mysteries and published them. It takes a long time and it's a lot of work.
Yes.
And it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's like taking an invention to market. It's
Yes.
expensive.
There's so many parallels
I
in
know.
entrepreneurship that just cross right over with inventors, because it's getting that product to market.
It
And
is.
again, it kind of circles back to trade shows. Trade shows are kind of the bread and butter of getting the word out.
It does. It makes such a difference. And the excitement in somebody's eyes, you can't do that in a video. You can't, press
No.
the flesh, like they say. And so being able to put your product into someone's hand and they go, oh, I get it now. It's like, when you file a patent and the examiner says, well, this is just like this other thing out there. And you're going, what? No, it's not. And you finally get on a video with them and you show them the product and they go, wow, that's not what I saw. Well, if you put the product in the buyer's hands, whether it's the buyer, supplier for a store chain, or it's the consumer gets to touch it, feel it, see it, and then they go, oh, holy cow, now I get it. At one point, I would imagine people didn't really understand what an electric toothbrush was supposed to do until they actually tried it.
Well, that reminds me of a inventor we had at the innovation station at the state fair. His name was Ryan. He was a physical therapist, or is still a physical therapist, also an inventor. And he came up with these shoe inserts for plantar fasciitis. And now you got to know Ryan. He was a real laid back kind of guy. And so he's in our booth. He's in the innovation station. He gets a little sign. He writes plantar fasciitis with a marker on a piece of cardboard, a cardboard sign, and tacks 2 of his inserts up there, hangs it up on the wall, and then stands across the aisle. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, this is not going to end well for him. Now this was the craziest thing. He would stand across the aisle, watch for people, and when they paused at his sign and looked at it, he walked up to them, then escorted them into the booth, sat them down in a chair like they were at a shoe store, and he ended up having a 90% close rate. Rita, I've never seen that before in my life.
Wow, that's amazing. And everybody's got a little trick to it,
Yes.
and they know their product, and that's what we like the inventors to go with us, because they know their product better than anybody else does. And a lot of times when they have their pitch, their thing that they've established, it makes all the difference in the world for it.
It does.
And so it makes me chuckle. It makes me laugh. And sometimes it takes a while. So that's one of the things that we help with to get the inventors. It's like, you got to practice, stand in front of the mirror.
That is so true.
When I lived in Denver, we were on TV. They had a local channel that had us on TV, and I had this one inventor on there, and she told me ahead of time. She goes, I get really nervous, and the lady would ask her a question, and she'd go,
You're in the headlights,
like,
right?
Yeah, exactly. It was funny. It was sweet. She'd given me a heads up. I stepped in. I started answering the questions. So the interviewer was constantly looking at the inventor, and as soon as she would ask the question, I would answer it for her. And that was it. I mean, she had such a cool product, and people were trying to get this product all over the place. I don't think they even knew I was doing the talking. They just knew that her lips didn't move. And, bless her heart. But yeah, different inventors have different strengths and skill sets, but, where we can help them. And we've had some of our inventor roundtable meetings where it's like, practice your pitch, do your thing. And, sometimes we give feedback, and, it's just being able to get that concise point. You don't want too much information, but you need enough.
It's a learned skill. And, it's just like learning to cook. You're going to burn some things. You're going to throw them out. But guess what? You're going to get better at it if you stick with it. And that's the key.
Absolutely.
Is doing it and learning it. And sometimes you just have to have that contact with other people in places like a trade show.
Absolutely. So everybody stick with us. We are going to be right back with our final segment with our expert, Don Skaggs, out of Kentucky. And if you know somebody out there who's got an invention, who's even talking about it, or they've got some inventory they want to be able to move because they haven't learned how to get out there and show off, have them get in touch with us, because we can take them to ASD, we can answer some questions, and we can find them the right service provider. So stick with us, everybody. We will be right back. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America, because America invents. And we are proud of the fact that we are inventors. The segment is brought to you by Bond Products, the DIY carpet binding that can help you do an Instabind. Bondproducts.com. Nothing else out there like it for fixing a frayed carpet, hole in the carpet, bad ending. Bondproducts.com is going to help you fix that carpet fray. So this segment, we are wrapping up with how important the trade shows are. Now, Don, a lot of inventors deal with the expense of going to a professional trade show. And, you know, you can go to some of the local ones. They're still expensive. You get, you know, a 10 by 10 without realizing that you got to pay for everything, including oxygen after that.
That's so true. So true. Yeah, I've always had a love-hate relationship with some of the adjunct companies, I guess, that go along with a trade show where, oh yes, we'll rent you a chair for 3 days. It'll just cost $100 a day.
Yep. Oh, you wanted internet? You wanted to be able to use your phone? And that is what this is going to cost. Oh, you wanted an extra badge. Okay, that's an extra $50. And, you know, trash cans.
It's crazy.
I know.
It really
I know. It really does. I can remember in my early days where we actually laid our own carpet by the squares because I wasn't going to, you know, if I expect my inventors to be frugal and they want me to be frugal, I'm going to be frugal with my own money. And that meant I had, you know, we were carrying in, you know, the carpet squares, and then, you know,
been there, done that.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding. No kidding. So now we've stepped up our game a little bit. We do have them lay it. I still will not pay for the luxury internet services. We do bring everything on thumb drives, old fashioned, but a lot cheaper. And, you know, but the big thing for inventors when, you know, they pay that and they say, well, how much is it going to cost me? It's like, you know, the average professional show is going to be somewhere around $5,000 before the add-ons. Before you've paid for, you know, carpet, tables, you know. Oh, and don't forget, if you wanted to do any marketing ahead of time on their platform, oh yeah, that's different. Did you want to have a banner up? Oh yeah, that's different. You wanted an ad in the directory? Oh yeah, that's going to add on. And they can be at 10 grand in a heartbeat.
Oh, easily. I've seen that. And you're competing with these companies that have, you know, unlimited budgets, seems like. And, you know, I'm like, okay, the big multinational company down the aisle is giving away a house, and I've got, you know, I'm giving away pens and my booth.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can find a ride home when it's all said and done, for sure. Right. It's so funny. And so when we go to ASD Market Week, everybody pitches in. So it's not costing any inventor 10 grand to go. And I think that makes a big difference, because then, you know, what it does include in the price that we charge is the online advertising, the print advertising, the staff that goes and carries it, all the tables, all the monitors, the pre-show advertising that they do because they want to advertise our products to their buyers to bring their buyers in, which we have never had before. And that is just such a wonderful benefit to work with Stephanie at ASD Market Week.
That connection to those people. I mean, if you're calling them up on the phone and you've got 14 layers of guard dogs trying to get through to get to someone, if you've got a concentration of those folks and you can go and talk to those folks and they are interested in talking to you, that can make a world of difference.
Oh, it does. And, you know, my inventor said, well, you know, are we all going to have chairs to sit on? No, you're there to work. You're not going to sit down.
Right.
Go to the concession area if you want to sit down. And, you know, I've had a couple times they've come back to me and said, okay, we get it now. Because we walked by several of the booths where they had a table and the exhibitors were just sitting there playing on their phones and everybody just kept walking by. It's like, no, you got to reach out and grab people. And this is the way you do it. So it makes a big difference to, you know, if you're going to spend the money to be there, for goodness sakes, you've got to be eye level and making eye contact.
That is so true. It's that, you know, my dad used to say, you know, the difference between a live wire and a dead one is connections. And yeah, I mean, and it's so true. You've got to reach out. And if cause they're not going to do it, they're not going to reach out to you a lot of times. You have to reach out to them.
Yep.
And it has to be in a good environment. And, you know, it's You don't want to just walk up to some random guy out of nowhere and just have them, they're like, well, who are you and where did you come from? No, you're in a booth. You're in an expected place for them to come and see. Ooh, what's this? Is this interesting? And if you're right, absolutely right. If you're reared back in a chair on your phone, they're probably going to move off to the next booth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I say, make contact. These are the questions that you start to ask. What brings you to the show today? Are you having a good time? What have you found that was interesting? Those type that draws them into the conversation. And you can tell that it's like, oh, well, I'm here with my husband and he's, doing this. And it's like, okay, nice to meet you. I hope you have a really good show, because you want to go in and meet the next person. So we go through all of that training on, what to ask and how to make that contact. And it makes a big difference for the folks when they are getting done now with the show and wrapping up and they say, oh, holy cow, how do we make contacts? Don't ever expect someone to contact you. You get their information, because they get back to their room, they've got 100 cards. Unless yours has got, nice zippy endings that triggers a little sensation in their fingers, they're probably going to throw it away.
That's true. It'll stay in that bag that they carry around and sit in the corner of their office for the next 9 months.
Exactly. And we don't do a lot of printing, but the printing that we do is on the heavy cardstock paper with lots of colors, so that it stands out. And people say, and I've had people actually comment about the fact it's like, your flyer was the one that, that we were able to touch, and we knew that was it because it was on the good cardstock paper.
You got to be the purple cow.
That's right. I like purple.
Yeah. You've got to stand out in the field.
Absolutely. And, going to the trade shows is kind of like getting ready to grow up for the inventors. So we want to make sure that all of the inventors out there have a chance to go with us. If you know an inventor or you are an inventor, have them get in touch. And if you are saying, oh, that sounds like a very cool product, go to our website, inventamerica.radio.com. And guess what? You can see all of the products that we've had on our show. And we are happy to have all of you consumers out there go and checking us out. So be with us next week. We will be back with a new problem for inventors and a couple of new inventions to talk about. So stay with us. We will be back here shortly with Greg Owens and Made in the USA. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this part of Home Talk USA.